Hey everybody, today I wanted to showcase a custom Sudoku I created a while back. Uh, this is a bit different from the typical Sudoku video where I typically just go in and solve a classic Sudoku. Now this here is actually has some Sudoku variant rules applied to it as well, so if you wanted to um, give this puzzle a shot, I'll also have it linked in the YouTube description. Um, but I'll kind of explain what I mean by variant Sudoku here. Um, so classic Sudoku, we know that rows, columns, and boxes must contain the numbers 1 through 9. Now, variant Sudokus like to add additional restrictions or rules on top of these, which should either be an extension of classic Sudoku or kind of just uh, can just be wildly different. So a very popular one, for example, is Killer Sudoku, which adds dotted cages through the rows, columns, and boxes that have a number in the corner that specifies that boxes in these cages must add up to a certain number, and that really makes Rule 45 really important and makes for some interesting solves. Now I'm going to show the puzzle here and kind of explain the custom restrictions. So beyond the classic rules, we also have two additional restrictions. One being the anti-night rule, which is, say you're given a candidate on the board, this one here, you won't be able to place a 1 from within the knight's move from chess, basically. So you can't place another one from within a chess knight's move of that position. So you can't place one in these spots here because, yeah, that chess knight rule restriction. With fives, you'll see that it's got even greater impact here, where you can't place a 5 in any of these positions because they're all within a chess knight move from that original spot. So that's that restriction. Now the X restriction is that these diagonals here, they must contain the numbers 1 to 9. So it's a lot like classic Sudoku with rows, columns, and boxes, but now we're actually doing that same restriction for diagonals from top left to bottom right, and the top right to the bottom left corners here. So, right, I'm gonna pause and reset the timer here, and I'll get solving now. So, if you wanted to give it a shot, I will have this puzzle in the description, but I'll go in and solve it now. So. Now, if you're not really looking for the right things in this puzzle, and sometimes can be tricky with variants, you can get stuck and not really start putting a lot of notes and numbers around the board and just get confused. But you see it, or you can appreciate from this layout that there's something going on with these odd numbers here in the layout. So 1, 3, 7, and 9. And you'll see something interesting going on with these even numbers as well. And 5's is an interesting outlier here. So we kind of have these three groupings that kind of make for some interesting interactions on the board. So firstly, one of the most restricted spots is this box 5 here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's very few spots remaining to solve, so we can actually look here. 2 and 8 can't go there, so they actually put 2 and 8 as possibilities here. Now 6 and 4s can't go there, so we actually put 6 and 4 as the possibilities of these spots. The other interesting thing with the even numbers here is that these diagonals can only contain even numbers because all the other odd numbers have been placed on these diagonals. So we could actually put them as possibilities. And if we look at the chess knight rule, we could actually start eliminating some here. So 2 and 6 from this one, 2 and 4 from this one, 8 and 4 from this one, and we got 6 and 8 from this one. So there's some reductions here that we could do. I don't think we could reduce this much further than we currently have right now. Perhaps later we can, but for the time being we can't. So the other interesting thing to note is this number 5. Now, there's a lot of interesting things that this 5 does in this puzzle. Of course, being right in the center, we know that we won't ever see 5s in any of these diagonals. We won't ever see 5 in any of these columns from column 5 and row 5. Chestnut rule, we won't ever see 5 in these positions. Oh, I did not highlight this here. So 5 is actually very restrictive. And if you're very observant here, you'll see that column 3 and column 7 actually create a X-wing pattern. So let's highlight this here. Let's highlight it to red. So we know that 5s, if you play, so in column 3 and column 7, 5s can only go in these two spots. So if you put a 5 here, that forces the 5 down there by the row and column elimination. If you place the 5 here, that basically forces 5 down here with the row and column eliminations. And what that allows us to deduce is that because of this restrictive if-else sort of arrangement with these columns, that allows us to say, okay, these rows can also only contain 5 in these two spots. So beyond that, we could recall that 5 can't go in these positions as per the column logic and the knight rule. And with this X-wing here, we know that 5 can't go in these two spots either. So this actually allows us to put 5 as a possibility in these two spots. And this also creates another interesting dynamic here. We actually got another X-wing. So if you recall, 5s can't go in these positions because of the X-wing row reduction. Can't go in these two spots because of the knight rule, and obviously it can't go in these positions because it's already in the center. So with these restrictive columns 4 and 6, we know that 5 can't also go in these rows either. So this also allows us to do some interesting stuff here with these corner boxes 1, 3, 7, and 9. So we'll just keep this highlighted as is. Well, I guess we could kind of remove these ones here because we're not really paying attention to the middle right now. Right, so if we look at these corners, by X-wing rule, we know that 5 can't go in any of these positions here. So that actually allows us to say, hey, 5 can only go in these 3 spots now. So I'll just use a corner marker for those. And lastly, we can look at these box 4 and 6 here. We already know that it can't go in these spots, and it can't go in these spots either by knight rule and the row ruling here. So, right, we can put 5 as a possibility in these 4 spots here. And I don't believe we could do much more with this right now. Yeah, this is probably as optimized as we can get with 5 currently, so we can continue from here on out. With this being done, we kind of looked at the even numbers, and we've already looked at the odd number, we already looked at the even numbers, and we already looked at 5s, so it might be a good idea to start looking at the ones as well, or the odd numbers. But firstly, I think it might make the most sense. Well, actually, no. I don't believe we've really explored the even numbers fully. You'll actually see that the 6 and 4 actually does something interesting in these column 3 and column 7. So let's look at column 3 for example. We already know that 6 can't go in these spots because of the knight rule. We already know that 6 can't go in these spots because of just being in the same box, duh. So we could actually put 6s here, and as you recall, only 5 can only go in these 2 spots as well. So this actually creates a locked pair, 5 and 6. And 4 does the same thing here. Knight rule, can't go in these spots, can't go in these positions here. We actually get another locked pair, 4 and 5. So this locked pair is interesting in that it tells us we can't have any other candidates in these 2 spots, because if a 4 is here, a 5 is there. If a 4 is here, 5 is there. So same here, 5 is here, 6 is there, 6 is there, 5 is there. And it's almost a circular logic here with this X-Wing as well. So now we know that these 5 spots here in this column can only have 5 different numbers now that aren't 4 and 5 and aren't 5 and 6. So we can start filling it in, and I was kind of ahead myself of the odd numbers earlier, but you'll actually see that, yeah, with 1s, diagonals can't go there. This one is here and here. Chest and Knight rule can't go there. Row reduction can't go there either. So that actually forces a 1 in this position here. And we see 3 is already there and 9's already there. So let's look at 7. We see that 7, see this spot, and we already filled in the other spots here. So we could actually place the 7. And with all that we've seen so far, 2, 4, and 8s are all that remain. So I believe this would just be a 2, 4, and 8 as possibilities. If you could look at the odd numbers here as well, you'll see that with the number 9, you kind of get a similar thing going on like with 1. There's a little bit of symmetry going on with this puzzle. So you'll see if these 9s, Knight rule restriction doesn't allow it to go here, and the row restriction here doesn't allow it to go here. So we can place a 9 here. We see that 1 and 7 is already placed. We can look at 3. 3 can't go there, so it must go there. And we see that 2, 6, and 8 are all that remain. So we can put 2, 6, and 8 in these 2 positions here. Now that makes these columns heavily restricted, and they're also as optimized as we can make them right now in terms of what could go where. So I think it would be valuable now to start looking at the rest of the puzzle. Let's look at this row 5. There's something interesting going on here. This row 5 is also very restricted as soon as we place this 1 and 9. So we see now that these 2 boxes can only have 2 possibilities now. Now 3 and 7 are all that remain, and it's pretty obvious which one goes where. So you see 7's already there, so we put the 3 there. We see that 3, of course, by what we placed here, this must be a 7, and we already see the 3 there. So cool. We can fill in the rest of these boxes here, but however, there's not really too much you could do with them right now. All that we can see is that 1s can't go there, so we can put 1 as a corner candidate, and we see 9s that 9s can't go there, so we put 9s as a corner candidate. So I think it's time we start looking at the other parts of this puzzle. So I think we could start with box 1. So you see with box 1, 3 can't go there. Diagonal rule of this one. We already know that this one can't go there because of the locked pair, and Knight rule can't go there. So we actually see that there's only one possibility for this 3, which is right there. The row rules basically tell us can't go in these 2 spots because of these 2. This one by column and this one by Knight rule. So we can place the 3 right there. We can look at these ones here. Can't go in these positions because of the column rule. Knight rule, we can't go there. Diagonal rule can't go there. So we can put the 3 there. And with these 2 3s here, but row reduction can't go there. Knight rule can't go there. But we already see that with these 2, it's already the same restriction with the columns. So it's the last spot here, and we see now that we actually placed all the 3s on the Sudoku board here. So that's very interesting. I think that allows us to see that, oh hey, we could probably solve probably the rest of the odd numbers on this puzzle, right? So let's do 7s next. Now by the column rules, we know it can't go in these 2 spots, and by night rule it can't go here, so we can put the 7 there. Row reduction, we see that 7s can't go in these 2 rows, row 1 and 2. Night rule can't go here, so we can place the 7 there. You also see that the 7 also sees in there, so already we could also do quite a lot of reductions just from the sight of this puzzle. 7s can't go in these 2 columns here because of these ones, and chest night rule can't go here either, so we could place the 7 there. Also, 7s can't go in these 2 rows here, and of course column can't go here or by the night rule, so 7 can't be placed here. And now we have all the 7s on the board. Very cool. What would be next best thing to look at? Perhaps maybe the number 1. So, right. We can look at the bottom box here, bottom 8. 1s can't go here, can't go there by the column and row, so 1 will be placed here. We know by the 2 rows here, it can't go in these positions, but it can't go down here because of this one. And of course, you can either use the night rule here to eliminate this, or the column here. This ends up giving us the 1 there. And now 5 is kind of locked as a pair in these 2 spots, so interesting to note. Right, I think now we can do this box 2. Can't go in these 2 columns because of these 2. So you can go and put the 1 right away here. And we can look to the right here. 1s can't go in these 2 positions. Excuse me. And I don't believe we could do much else. We end up actually kind of creating a locked set here with these 1s here. So if 1 goes there, it must be there. If 1 goes there, it must be there. That's probably about as clean as we can make the 1s right now, I believe. Just doing one last scan to be sure. Yeah, I think so. I think now we could look at the number 9. Now, looking at this column here, we could already see that 9 must go here, so we can place that almost immediately. And of course, with the diagonal rule and the row reductions here, we can immediately place the 9 there. And we kind of placed the hints here earlier. We know that 9 must go here because they're the only 2 spots that we could put the 9s in. We can look at the top one here. The row and column rule means that 9 must go in this spot here. Let me place that a little more cleanly. Yes, you see that the 9s can't go in these 2 rows here. Can't go here because of diagonal. Can't go here because of chest rule. So you can actually put the 9 right there. And nice, we actually got all the 9s on the board now. We can actually get all the 1s on the board now too, because we kind of got rid of that pairing here. So we could immediately say 1 goes here and there. So nice. Now we could circle back and we'll see that we actually have only 1 5 available in these box 3 and box 7. We can actually resolve this X-Wing now, so cool. We can place 5 in these 2 spots because they're the only possible positions for 5 now. So there we go. And that actually resolves this now. Because there's 5 here, this must be a 4. Because there's a 5 here and there must be a 6. So that is cool. We're not quite done with the 5s yet. You'll see that by the night rule. It's because of the 5s here, it sees this spot. So we could actually remove this 5 as a possibility. And you could actually use the same logic here. This 5 sees this position, so we can actually remove that as a possibility now too. So we kind of have a thing going on here, 5s, where it's kind of locked into these positions right here. So this set here, this set there, and then this X-wing here. So that's pretty interesting. So we dealt with the odd numbers, and I believe we've gotten the fives as clean as we possibly can. So perhaps now we should start looking at some restricted rows and columns with the even numbers. So without further ado, what's the most restricted? Well, it looks to be rows 2 and 8. So let's start with row 2. These two are basically stuck being either 4 and 8. And let's see if we can do anything with that information right now. Not really. Don't believe so. Probably the same down here as well. 2 and 6. I don't believe we could do anything more for that right now, so I guess we could move along. Where else is very restricted in this puzzle? I guess maybe these boxes are pretty restricted too. We can probably just try to get the remaining possibilities in some of these boxes that are surrounding the puzzle. So, I'm sure, why not? Let's see here. Get 1, 2, and 3. I'm wondering if we could do any other tricks or stuff. Perhaps not. Right. Just kind of thinking through here, if there's anything more we could do. Okay, I might just start putting the candidates down. So let's see. Got 1. So let's see where 2 could go in this box here. We know it can't go in this spot here and this spot there. So 2 is restricted to this row here. So I believe we could put 2 as corner candidates in these 2 spots. Let me make sure that's right here. Yep. Because of that, we could remove 2 from this corner. Let's see, what else can we do here? We've got 4s as well. We know that 4s can't go there and can't go there, so 4s kind of form. We can kind of put 2 4s here in the corner. Then the only other thing is really 6s and 8s, and I think we could see right now that, yeah, it can only really be, they can basically go anywhere in this puzzle, or in these boxes for the most part. I mean, 6 is in here, but that basically, we basically see that 6 could go in any of these 3 boxes, and 8s in general can kind of just go anywhere here, so we could put 2, 6, and 8 as possibilities here. Could probably circle back by symmetry and kind of look down in this other box here. So, I think 6 might be a bit interesting. We go down here, look down. 6 can only go in these 2 spots. So you could fill that corner there with that. 8 might also be interesting as well. 8 sees in there. Night Rule sees that. So we could put 8 as the possibilities here. And of course with that, with what we see there, since 8's only in this row and 8's in this row, you know that 8 can't possibly go here. Don't think we could do any diagonal reductions yet, so unfortunately not. Let's see. We see that 6 goes there, so I guess with the symmetry, we know that this will be 2, 4, and 8. So, right. I think lastly, We'll probably look at box 1 and 9 here. So let's look at 2. Let's see that 2 can't go in this spot here, and of course can't go here because of this. So, oh cool. We actually get a locked pair now. 2 and 5. Because 2 and 5 can only possibly go in these two spots here. And, well, I guess I feel a little silly here. We put a 6 here a while back, so we can remove 6 here. And you'll see that we got a 4-8 pair on the diagonal, 4-8 and 4-8. So that actually means 4 can't go down there. So we got ourselves another locked pair, 2 and 6. So actually means that 8 can only go in these two spots as well. And we get another locked pair of 5 and 8. So nice. Suddenly we kind of got more restrictive rows now because we created some locked pairs, which is quite cool. Right, and I guess that was an oversight with me. I may have put the candidates earlier, but I forgot to remove the possibility from the corner, so my bad. Anyways, we can start looking at rows 3 and 7 as it's freely restricted. 4, 6, and 8. Now, can we remove anything from that? Let's see, 4s. Not really. No. Don't think so. How about 6? Not exactly either. I don't think we can remove anything else from there. 8s. Not a chance. So I guess we could do a similar thing here too. 2, 4, and 6. Okay. Might be valuable to start filling in this row now with the candidates that are possible. 1, 2, 3. Let's see, 4s. Can 4 go in any of those spots? Well, actually, you can see something interesting here. This is where some of the restrictions kind of come in handy here. So you see that this blocked pair actually does something really interesting for us. You'll see that 4 and 8 can't possibly ever go here, because if you put a 4 there, well, 4 can't go there anymore. You put a 4 there, well, 4 can't go there anymore either because of the knight rule. So 4 and 8 actually are quite restricted on this spot here. So this actually ends up being a 5 and 6. That's the only possibilities. And I guess we can't really do much with 6 right now, so no, not really. Oh, but you could actually kind of see the opposite. Kind of with this one's here too. Put 6 there, can't go there. Put 6 there, it can't go there. Put 6 there, it can't go there. So actually, 6 is kind of restricted to these two positions here. Okay, so I think we can make that a locked possibility there. Now that we know that 4 can't go in these two spots there, and we know 6 can't go there, I guess we could fill this in with 4, 8, and 5. Nice. I just want to be sure I didn't miss anything here. I mean, you can't really do that logic with the 8s and 4s, of course, and 2 is already there, so it's not really all that useful. Perhaps we could do some more in these columns as we fill in the bottom half as well. So, right, we could do the same logic here. 2 and 6. We know that 2 and 6 can't go here. So that means the only possibility here is 4 and 5. And I believe we could just fill in the rest of the candidates here by the symmetry as we've seen before. With the number 8 in this instance, well, not 8 because we already know that it's there. With the number 4 in this instance, these three all see the spot here, so the only possibility is actually 2, 5, and 6. And we're finished up here. You'll see something interesting. These columns now have a locked triple. So 2, 5, and 6 can only be placed in these 3 boxes, or these 3 cells. I shouldn't be saying boxes. Because 2, 5, and 6 form a triple set, we know that 2, 5, and 6 can't be in any of these positions here. So, but before I get into the reduction, I want to highlight something interesting here. Basically, all these interior cells here, they kind of interact with each other in an interesting way. I think, yeah, probably these ones, and possibly these other ones here, where basically, if you start solving one of the numbers here, you can kind of start going around the board as well with all those other restrictions that we specified with night rule. Like once you solve this here, you kind of do night rule and then solve the next one, and then night rule and solve the next one and night rule. So there's kind of an interesting thing that'll happen here. It'll unlock the puzzle pretty heavily once we start solving the digits, and this triple here might be the key. So you'll see that this 2, 5, and 6 triple means that 2, 5, and 6 can't go in these other cells here. So that actually, it gives us some numbers, and you can actually see the same here by symmetry with the 4, 5, and 8 in this column. So 4, 5, and 8 can't go in these plots here, so we actually remove them, and we'll actually start to solve quite a bit of this puzzle now. So let's start filling them in. Firstly, let's just deal with box 2 because it's a little more trivial and just kind of invokes the classic Sudoku. We know that 6 must go here now, and because 6 is placed, 5 must go here, and then we kind of just remove the stuff here. By row logic here, this means that 8 must go here now because we put the 6 down, and by the row logic here, we know that 4 must go there now, and then by that rule, we know that 8 must go there. We know that because the 8 here, that means 4 must go there. And let's reduce this a little further. We've got 4 and 8. 2, 6. Because of the 8's placed here, the 4 must go there, and then the 8 must go there. Nice, so things are getting a lot cleaner now. We can kind of look at the bottom box here as well. We placed the 4 here, that means the 5 must go there. And we kind of just reduce this a bit more. Nice. Let's see, because we placed a 4 there, now this must be a 2. So you can place a 2 there. Since the 2 is placed, this must be a 6 now. And then we can kind of reduce these now. 2 and 6. And then I guess we can remove the corner markers as well. Right. And let's see, can we do more of that? Right, 2 sees this 2 here. You can put the 6. Because of the 6 is placed, you can put the 2 as well. So suddenly well, actually we can look at these diagonals now and see that, hey, because 8's there, we can put a 4 here. Hey, because of the 2's here, we can put a 6 there. So we can actually resolve these positions there as well. So now the corners are finished. Awesome. 2 and 4's are here. We can place an 8 there. 8 and 6 are there, so we can put a 2 there. And now I think it's time we just solve the rest of the interior cells here. So we could place the 8 here because it's painfully there. You see it by the chest night rule, 4 is there, so this puts a 6 there. And those 2's there. Obviously night rule and what's remains, this has to be a 4. And let's see, can we do anything else now? Right, 6 sees this must be a 2, this must be a 6. Awesome. What else can we do? Let's see, 1, 2. 2 sees this must be a 2. Then this must be a 2. This must be a 5. This must be a 5. Do 3, this must be a 4. Let's see. The 5C, 8C, this must be an 8. Because of 8's there, this must be a 5, this must be a 5, this must be an 8. And then this must be a 6. And there you have it. That's this puzzle here. So, hope you found that interesting. Now, there's also one other thing I wanted to highlight when it comes to solving this puzzle too. I showcase the X-Wing strategies here that you can do with the number 5, and you can see I still have the cells highlighted, but I'll kind of showcase another way you can approach this puzzle here. You can actually use a geometry trick with 5 as well. So you'll see that because 5 can't go in these positions here, obviously the row and column logic and diagonal logic here. Right. In the night rule, you'll see that heavily restricts where 5 must go on the board. But I wanted to highlight a geometry trick you could do with that. You'll see that you can actually kind of form a ring here around to show that, hey, 5 can't go in any of these cells in this ring formation. With that information, you could actually apply this geometry trick, which says, hey, well, let me explain a bit nicer here. Since 5 can't go in any of these red boxes, that actually implies that 5 can't go in any of these blue boxes. This is actually a real geometry trick they can actually apply. So it's kind of a speedier way to get about going through the solve as well, because I mean it does kind of set you up for the other X-Wing formation here again, right? But well, not exactly. I mean, that's just painfully seen with the chess and diagonal rules and such. But it does kind of do some of the work of reducing some of these this rows 1s and 9s as well. So you don't have to do X-Wing twice. So you could actually kind of see that it will end up just leaving you with that formation a little sooner. So 5 being only possible in these spots here. Right. So it might be it's a little slightly faster than the previous approach, but you'll see that, yeah, you can kind of reach the same conclusions with a few different paths. Anyways, that's about it. Thanks, and see ya.